by the end of the day, all the videos that I just posted to get my camera roll free had 5,000 followers on it, and it was an account that had 0 by the start of the day, and then in 6 months it had 800,000.
Hello and welcome. This is a very special edition. This time we're doing this in English. I'm Sina Steeding. I'm the trends manager for YouTube. I look at trends every day and I try to see something interesting, and then we talk about it on this podcast. And today we're doing a very special edition from the OMR. I was just on the stage with the slime queen, Talisa Tossell. She is one of the biggest slime creators that we have on the platform. And you might ask yourself, what is a slime creator? If you don't know what this is, I'm afraid you will have to get on the internet and look this up. So in 2016, yes. Talisa here started with Schleim-Videos. Can you just tell us how you came to do that and why?
So I was on Instagram and I saw these videos and I was like, I really don't understand how like anyone enjoys
so
these
like
things.
Videos of people playing with slime.
Yeah, they were really short form videos as well, like 15-second videos, but very like amateur-y. They didn't have any like anything to them. It was just like plain. I was like, I don't like this. And then eventually I saw some good audio ones and I was like, I like these. I'm going to save these. But at the time I had a really cheap phone and like the storage got full up really quick. And I was like, well, I want to keep these videos, but I can't keep them on my phone anymore. So I created what I thought would be a throwaway kind of burner account. And then I posted it. And by the end of the day, all the videos that I just posted to get my camera roll free had 5,000 followers on it, and it was an account that had 0 by the start of the day, and then in 6 months it had 800,000. So
what?
I know, it was crazy.
Were you aware that like slime videos are a thing on YouTube?
It wasn't a thing. So it wasn't a thing in 2016. It wasn't a thing. It was just a random thing that popped up on my For You page, and there was no slime community, there were no slime creators, there were maybe like 5,
right?
And so me just doing it, it was just really, really off the wall. Like no one really cared like for that type of thing at the time. But as time progressed, in like a year's time, 2017, how to make slime became the most Googled thing of all time.
Yeah.
Above like any athlete, above any famous person, that was the thing that was Googled. It's crazy.
So you had no indication that that was going to work. You were just like, I'm really into this. I
didn't think it was going to be a job. I didn't think it was going to be anything. I didn't even think it was going to be an account. I just thought, these are the very few videos out of hundreds that I've seen that are actually good.
Yeah.
But it created like this really great audience where they liked the same stuff as I did, which actually segued really well into making videos, because then all the stuff that I liked and made, they liked, because they'd already like kind of built up from watching what I like enjoyed.
And well, you're not showing your face in it. It's just your hands, like kind
Always
of
my hands.
Getting into slime.
Yeah, all the time. And it's like the ASMR sounds and ASMR visuals as well. But yeah, it's really interesting, and it's been a great experience, because I know that a lot of YouTubers are really, always on it and they're always getting approached, whereas I'm kind of the opposite. I never get approached. And then they see my nails and they hear my voice and they're like, oh my goodness, it's you. So it's my sign to be like more quiet. Hi guys.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell. I just walked around the OMR with you for a little bit, and there's you can kind of disguise. I mean, I guess it works out, right? Because obviously being a creator these days is not, it doesn't just mean like making a few videos. Like you get this kind of like celebrity status, right? And like people, actually, you were telling me earlier that people were asking private questions, and like they feel like they know you, right?
Like they know you, and like anything you put online, you have to realize that like it's out there forever, even if it's a passing comment. People just remember it.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I was saying earlier, like if you go through a breakup, you only have to post one photo, and everyone for the rest of your life will ask you where that person has gone, and you're like, it's just a normal breakup. It's like an interesting, really like, I guess parasocial, I think is the word people use to describe it for all the relationships. But when you watch people, you're in your bedroom every single night watching these people that you feel like you love their videos, and you're like, oh, I know this person, and then and then you're like, actually maybe.
And it's not just you as the creator, it's also because you're not the only one who does slime videos, right? So this is I guess a like trending category we call oddly satisfying, right? That some like people I don't think have found a way to explain why we enjoy watching people interact with slime.
I think
I love watching it, but I don't know why.
So I always theorize on things because obviously I do it full time. So I always try and work out. And whenever I reach for it, it's always this like kind of a distraction because there's no thoughts to slime.
Yeah.
Like all you do is just like mush it around. It's a nice feeling and it looks cute. And for the like 15 seconds you're watching, you don't have to think about anything else. And it's just kind of like background TV in a way.
For sure.
So it's just like a relaxing, like fun phenomenon.
Yeah, and like something about it just makes me feel very good. Like
Yeah.
you make these, they look like something to eat, and you're like, oh yeah, I can eat this, but then you just dig your hands in it, and it just like makes you feel good, right? But I don't think we know why it feels good.
No.
But obviously we're not the only one because, you know, you
So
have
many people
millions
out
and
there.
millions
I
people
know.
watching it. Yeah. So I also noticed that you started, obviously, you know, we're YouTube. We now have YouTube Shorts, right? Which goes back a little bit to like the OG days of YouTube when, you know, you'd have like short videos and like very high potential for recreation, that kind of stuff. But you also have started, you know, playing around with short form.
Yeah.
So what I'm really interested in is, as a creator, how do you decide what goes on a short form video, what goes on a live stream, what goes on a long form, like obviously all these like formats you have on YouTube?
With long form, the way I format the video is my favorite short form video goes to the front and then I kind of rank them.
Right.
So I have like my favorite and then it will like slowly go down. And then in that way, when I go across platforms, I go from the start of the video and I start taking bits out like bit by bit and I watch it. And the second, it doesn't matter if it's for a split second, if I just look away from my screen or I get bored, I cut that bit out and I make this really choppy video and put it across the platforms. And that's the only way to get short form video like interactive.
Right.
If you don't, people just click off.
Do you feel there's a different audience for short form than there is for long form?
Yes, 100%. Like I don't really watch long form stuff anymore. I watch like just the snappy short videos because you can get the same amount of stuff just in a really short amount of time and then you get the rest of your day free.
Sure. I mean, it depends on what you're going after, right? Because if you're saying like you want 15 minutes of like laid back and you just want to like watch slime videos, you know, because I'm more of a long form person, so like I would rather watch that for 50 minutes than for 60 seconds. But then of course, like especially younger people are like now interacting, you know, with like short form. So obviously like YouTube's not the only platform where that happens, and of course you are on other platforms as well. But it just, I can't wrap my head around like what makes it like super attractive to this format or the other format. Like how do you choose what works where, and like what goes on inside your head when you make those decisions?
So when I watch the stuff on each platform, I pay attention to what does well, and that can be songs used or just visuals used, and I'm like, okay, I'll test that, and if it does well, I'll do it again and again and again. And between the things that I know do well, so if I know one format does well, I'll sandwich it with something that I'm testing in the middle, so I know that it will bump that content up and give it a chance. And so it's just this trial and error of just like doing it again and again and seeing what works, but also allowing stuff to grow. Like on YouTube, stuff that my videos sometimes, like when I first post it, will get like 30,000 views, which doesn't sound like a lot, and then in 6 months time we'll have over 1 million, and it makes no sense, but you have to let it breathe and you need to not like squash the ideas. You just have to like move on, and I think that's something that now obviously with all the short form about that just happens, but you have to like just stick with it. It's an interesting one.
I mean, that's something we tell creators and brands and whatever, right? That it's really, you know, very early days in that format, really, where like, I mean, when I say format, I mean the vertical bit, right? Where you just like swipe through, because like the format is not new. Like those trends are not new. Like we've had video trends for ages, you know, and like they're just now in vertical. But it is a really good time to start doing that kind of stuff, because it's so early days that you really get a lot of freedom to experiment with it, right? But of course, I mean, you've been doing it for a while. Like, can you tell me what kind of changed from like, oh, you know, you start on YouTube, you do long form. Like, how has it like evolutionized like over the years for you?
So in the beginning, everything was kind of like you could post anything about slime and it would get views. So you could just post anything you wanted. But now you have to really pay attention to what's going on in the world. Like I saw AirPods at one point were trending. So I mixed some AirPods into slime and that video went viral everywhere. And little things like that over the years have made me realize that you have to kind of link it into things that are like happening around you and more people will watch. Whereas like back then, there was still an influencer market in 2016, but it wasn't what it is now even.
Sure.
So it's just changed so much. Like it's definitely harder now to become a like creator.
And how do you juggle all these different formats and all these, you know, different ideas? And
so formats, like I started on one short form platform and then I moved on to YouTube and then onto another short form. But then 3 is kind of the most you can manage by yourself. So I went over to this company called Jelly Smack, and they're really great and they do multi-platform stuff. So they moved it over for me, and it's great because you earn like passive income and like you can just take a break, which I have been doing for the longest time. And now I feel like it's great because I'm rested, but I've still had that job security where I hadn't had that before. And all they do is like repurpose my videos. So it's been the best. But I think past a certain point you need help. If you're doing like everything yourself, especially, you just need to be like, it's okay to not do everything yourself. But it's like your baby, so like you feel like you have to.
That brings up a good point, because I'm wondering, you know, there's so much more on your plate now than when you first started doing it as 100%. A hobby. Like, how is your like mental health? How have you kind of managed that throughout this whole time?
Well, I think in the beginning it's just so exciting that you don't even think about it. Like you're just like doing it and it's just like an everyday thing. And then as time goes on, you're like, okay, this is actually really stressful and like the adrenaline's still pushing me through, but I don't really, you know, have the stamina for this anymore. And then when the pandemic hit, it was just so quiet and like you're at home, you're expected to work at home, and there was just like no, you know, everyone was experiencing that, but I just found it really, really hard. And I took a massive break, and I didn't really know if I was going to come back. I wanted to, but I was like, I don't know. And I think with mental health on YouTube as well, like things go up and down, and when you're so used to them being high, the second it goes down, you're like, oh my god, it's the end of the world, no one's watching me anymore. And then like we mentioned, like it gets 30,000 in the beginning, and then in 6 months does really well. So like you beat yourself up over nothing. So I think it's just such like a high and low, and you just have to learn over time to like be gentle with yourself and be like more patient.
I mean, it's good advice for everybody, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't think you have to be a creator. Like I can empathize with that, and I'm not a creator. But I mean, before we wrap up, like obviously we've talked about your past. Like I kind of want to know like what's next for you. Is there anything you feel like, you know, you still really want to achieve, or is there, you know, like dreams? Like what are your dreams as a creator? Like
I actually take every year, like year by year, because I feel like every year you just find new stuff and you're like, okay, I really like this. I have really random dreams. So I love like furniture design, which is so random, but I love like the really like edgy furniture. So maybe that.
Well, there's also a community on YouTube for that.
Really? So. You have to send me the links because I really want to see that.
I mean, there's a community for everything.
For everything.
You make slime videos. You should know this.
I know. And it is funny as well because there were slime videos when I first joined YouTube. There were only like a handful of them. Because there were only a handful, when the slime trend blew up, all these videos that had such little amount of views got like 10 million.
Yeah.
And I always think that as well. Do what you like. 10 years time might be a trend. You might, you know, earn a ton of money from just doing what you're doing already.
I mean, I renovated my flat last year.
I love those videos. They're the best videos.
I didn't even know people did that. Like, it never really occurred to me that I could do that. But then, you know, I had my place, and I was like, well, I need this done. I'm like, well, I'll try myself with YouTube at first. I mean, it worked out. But yeah, I did, you know, there's a community for everything. And, you know, there's no such thing as too niche anymore. And that's what's so crazy about it, right? Like,
I think it's great as well. Like, people are expressing themselves and being like true and honest with themselves and what their likes are. And I think when you do that, it leads into things in life that you're way more suited to, like jobs or just like hobbies or people you make friends with. Like, it's amazing.
And just to find other people that are into it, you know, because when you started out, you didn't think like millions of people were into it.
Not even that, but like my best friends now all do it, and like I didn't know them 3 years ago, and like it's so crazy to think if I didn't, you know, just post these weird little videos, that I wouldn't have some of my best friends. And I think if we take away everything but just the friendship, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. So just because we got carried away, like, what is the next big thing that we're...
So obviously I want to post more content on YouTube. So I'll carry on with that.
Yay!
But yeah, just anything creative I really love. Like, I love the arts. I love acting. I love, creating art, just expressing myself through like just creative means. So basically everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the sky's the limit, right? I don't
Sky's
think you
the
would have
limit.
been thinking about sitting here at this crazy festival.
I know, in a
like
caravan.
7 years ago in a caravan, recording a podcast with like those, I mean, thousands of people out there.
Thousands.
Like,
70,000 to be precise.
Crazy. Well, it's been so nice to meet you. And
so
like,
nice to meet
thank
you
you for, the entire catalog on YouTube, So we're really happy to have you on the platform and also to have you here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. So nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.